One of the biggest challenges in getting ready for our next Kickstarter for the KADE miniConsole Plus was really just trying to show the massive scope of the feature set in a short video, and really took a bunch of different videos. They all ended up being super long, and while we were working on the Kickstarter, we had some pretty cool things happen with the Wii. So I'm going to use the Wii as a use case and show you some of what the miniConsole can do. So right now I have Smash Brothers playing on the Wii U. This is the Smash Brothers Wii U version, and this is in the controller configuration screen. So what I have is a Wiimote that is connected wirelessly. The Wiimote is really cool because it can connect not just to the Wii U, connects to the Wii. It also, with the right drivers and Bluetooth hardware, you can connect to Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, a whole bunch of other systems. And we're pretty excited about that wireless functionality. But what it does when it's plugged into the Wiimote is the KADE miniConsole Plus announces itself as if it is the Wii Classic controller, which is really cool. Gives us a lot of flexibility. So in the case of Smash Brothers here, it's going to show up as this controller here, the classic controller. I could also use the same setup with the original Wii and play Smash Brothers on the Wii, no problem, or any other game that supports this. If I wanted to, I could also play the Nintendo 64 Virtual Console version on the Wii. And instead of, if I didn't want to play with the GameCube controller, I could just say, well, I want to play with a Nintendo 64 controller. So I could use the original controller that was intended for it, and it's going to work just fine. So I can go in, I can hit test, and we can see the analog controls. I can move really slowly, I can do dashes. Everything maps as you would expect. Out of the box, on the fly. Don't have to do any kind of configuration if I don't want to. But if I want to, John's actually been working on a cool little app with Bruno to get custom configuration. Not promising anything, but it's working really well so far. So here I've changed to GameCube. So on the fly change of the input. If I really wanted to, I could play with arcade controls. They are set up simultaneously. Smash Brothers doesn't lend itself to the D-pad style arcade inputs. It really wants to have the analog controls for the best gameplay. So super cool, really proud of this. I could play with anything with an analog, or I mean, if I wanted to, I could play with a Super Nintendo controller. So dynamic input, and we have our main output here is the Wiimote. If I take that out, it's going to say, hey, you've lost this controller. It's not hooked up. And really, I want to show something cool here is I pre-ordered Smash Brothers, and I got this from Nintendo. This is actually plugs into the front of the Wii U, and it allows you to input GameCube controllers. And this is pretty cool. There's some folks who wrote some open source drivers for it, for a couple different operating systems, and I was having a conversation with Bruno, and I was like, you know, it'd be really cool is we have this RJ45 that does the Wiimote. We have RJ45 that'll also do the PlayStation output on the fly. Just plug it in, no big deal. It changes. And then I can go to USB, and we have a whole other world that opens up. I can plug this into a PlayStation 3. I can plug it into a Windows, Mac, Linux system. I can plug it into my Raspberry Pi. With a little converter cable, I can plug it into the original Xbox. It does all sorts of stuff. We've had all sorts of systems we've tried in beta as well that aren't on that list. But what we were talking about would be really cool is if the dynamic system detection could, if I could do this and plug it in and have it emulate this, maybe we could do that. And actually, if I go and I hit test now, it's going to say you're using a different controller because I'm no longer emulating the classic controller. On the fly, I'm emulating the GameCube adapter. So if I say OK, I go back and I choose the GameCube and I hit test. I'm now connected directly to the Wii U through USB on the fly, no reprogramming, and I have my analog controls working just as expect, my Z, my shoulder buttons, everything works exactly like you would expect on the fly, as well as the arcade controls. If I didn't want to use the fight stick and the arcade controls, I can do on the fly through the desktop version. No configuration, just plug and play, ready to go with default mapping. Also, looking pretty likely like we're going to have an application that'll be likely cross-platform, that'll allow you to adapt the input and output if you want to. If you want to customize it and bring it further. So, super exciting stuff. I don't think anybody else has done Wii U input. Super cool for Smash Brothers if you want. It's also being expanded to quite a few of the emulators on the Virtual Wii. So we're super excited about adding this functionality on the fly plug-in to the Wii U, emulating the GameCube adapter. Super exciting stuff. Look for more cool new features and news about the KADE miniConsole Plus Kickstarter.